starts with the pellet. Whether you start shooting on a break barrel, a CO2 pellet shooting revolver, a multi-pump pneumatic, eventually that itch to see what's out there, what's better, hits you. This video is for you. The question everybody asks, how much do I need to spend on a pre-charged pneumatic? This video assumes you've figured out how to fill that pre-charged pneumatic airgun once it arrives on your doorstep. Whether you decide to buy a new high-capacity air tank, an old fire department tank, a scuba tank, or a hand pump, once you've decided how to get air into the gun, the real fun of researching and choosing your air rifle begins. The purpose of this report is to give you an idea of the performance you can expect from a rifle in the sub-$1,000 category and compare it to what you can expect from a over $1,500 air rifle. The answer to the big question, which rifle should I buy, can only be answered by you. But we would like to give you some objective information about both types of guns so that you can make an informed decision. Representing the sub-$1,000 rifle is the Benjamin Armada. The Armada is a cousin to the Benjamin Marauder. Both rifles are made with the same power plant, the primary difference between the two being the stock. The Armada is designed with a railed front end, a collapsible and replaceable buttstock, and an AR pistol grip capable of accepting hundreds of different grip options. The barrel on the Armada is fully shrouded, and it is considered by most to be a backyard-friendly rifle. It is unregulated, bolt action, and feeds from an 8-round magazine that can be had for about $20. Representing the high end of the PCP airgun spectrum is the FX Impact. The Impact shares the Armada's AR styling, but is laid out as a bullpup. It can accept replacement hand grips and has rails on the top, side, and bottom of the midpoint of the gun. Rather than a steel cylinder, it has a carbon fiber bottle, and while it has a fully shrouded barrel, the shrouding on the Impact can be extended for additional noise reduction. The FX is a regulated air rifle and has external regulation adjustment. It's fed by an 18-round rotary magazine and is side lever action as opposed to the Armada's bolt action. In addition to external regulator adjustments, the Impact also has a hammer spring tension adjustment as well as an external power wheel, which provides the shooter with opportunities to adjust velocity in the field. Our accuracy tests were conducted at an indoor range at 30 yards. Both rifles were topped with scopes that seemed appropriate to their price point. The Impact was topped by a Hawk Sidewinder, and the Armada was topped by a Weaver brand scope that was acquired secondhand. To test the accuracy of the gun, shooters first fired 10 rounds at the center heart on the Ace of Hearts. This group was measured center to center for group size. The second portion of the accuracy testing had shooters firing 10 individual shots, 2 each at the 5 hearts on the 5 card. Each of the shots was counted as a hit or a miss, and misses were measured from the edge where the pellet skirt tore the card to the nearest red of the appropriate heart. All of the shots were added together with misses scoring 0 and then divided by 10 to give us an average miss in inches. In this test and the impact versus Daystate Airwolf test, rifles were fired off a bag rest, not clamped into a gun vise. The intent of the test was to measure the shootability of the gun, not the absolute accuracy minus the human factor. Each gun in the test was fired by 3 different shooters, and the reported accuracy is based on the average over 60 rounds fired at 2 different types of targets. This is Shooter 1 firing a 10-round group at the Ace of Hearts using the Benjamin Armada in .22 caliber. Shooter 1's group measured 0.5 inches center to center. Here you see Shooter 1's groups side by side. This is Shooter 2 firing a 10-round group at the Ace of Hearts. Shooter 2's group measured 0.6 inches center to center. Here are Shooter 2's Benjamin Armada groups compared to his FX Impact groups. This is Shooter 3 firing a 10-round group at the Ace of Hearts. The center to center group size for Shooter 3 was 0.8 inches. Finally, a comparison between Shooter 3's Armada and Impact groups. All shooters noted that during this part of the test it became difficult to have a consistent point of aim once that point of aim was erased by a point of impact. Here we see the second part of the accuracy test. Each shooter will fire 10 rounds at the 5 of hearts. Pellets will be fired first at the top left heart, then the top right, the center, the bottom left, and the bottom right. The sequence will then be repeated. Here you see a comparison to Shooter 1's 10 shots with the FX Impact. Here is Shooter 2's 10-round effort shooting at the 5 of hearts. And this is the comparison to 10 rounds fired with the FX Impact. Finally, here is Shooter 3's effort. For reference, each of these are being played back at 4 times speed. Here is Shooter 3's comparison card with the FX Impact. When testing individual shot placements, the FX Impact is significantly more accurate than the Benjamin Armada. In our tests, the shooters with 30 total shots fired only missed 3 times, as compared to 13 total misses with the Armada. the average miss with the FX impact is 0.012 inches, while the average miss with the Benjamin Armada is 0.78 inches. Before you kick the Armada to the curb, however, keep in mind that 0.78 inches is just slightly more accurate than our test on the Daystate Airwolf, which registered 3 fewer misses. Based on our tests, the FX Impact is a more accurate gun. And for about $1,000 more, it should be. The Benjamin Armada and its slightly less expensive cousin, Benjamin Marauder, both represent excellent values for the money. If your interest is in shooting groups on paper, the heavier Benjamin Armada even outperforms the lighter FX Impact. There are some things you sacrifice with the less expensive gun. The Armada is longer, heavier, and requires significantly more effort to cock. It is noticeably louder, but does have significantly more rail space, and because the magazine is smaller, can mount a scope closer to the axis of the barrel. So what do you get when you have a lot more money to spend? First of all, you have a more adjustable gun. There are 3 different adjustments that you can make on the FX Impact, none of which can be made without opening up and modifying the Benjamin Armada. You're also able to adjust the caliber. The FX Impact can be changed from 177 to 22, 25, and even 30 caliber. While the Benjamin Marauder and Armada are both guns that fire within a minute of squirrel, the FX Impact is more accurate. It's also regulated, which gives better shot-to-shot accuracy and conserves air. While it is true that both the Marauder and Armada can be modified to be regulated, this is over and above what most new airgunners are going to want to take on with their first rifle. The trigger on the Impact is more refined than the good trigger on the Armada. The final notable difference between the 2 rifles is that the FX design does away with hammer bounce. While it's true that both the Armada and Marauders can be fitted with a hammer debounce device, it is again something a new airgunner may be reluctant to install. In the end, the Armada is an excellent gun, but once you get your hands on an Impact, you won't want to give it up.